Is that the governor? Are you the governor?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Why would you sign a law telling women whether they can have an abortion or not? That makes you a douchebag.
Okay, that was a great opening.
Welcome to Brothers and Booze. How you doing, Doug?
I'm doing great. That made my day. Thank you for that one. I hadn't seen that, and yeah, that was awesome. How are you?
Cool. I'm doing good. And listen though, what I liked about that is that that's, in my opinion, how you should. There's a debate on how you should approach these people, how you should protest. We had people outside of Mansion's boat screaming at them, and I just think that's the. I think that was the best present. Like that hit for me. So I was cool with that. Even beyond the message, which I agree with, and I'm not afraid to say I agree with it, but the way he did it, the delivery was just amazing. So yeah.
He made it sound like he was like a giant fan. Hey man, you're great, and then just like drop a hammer on him.
Right.
Governor? Are you the governor?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Why would you sign a law telling women whether they can have an abortion or not? That makes you a douchebag.
He really just gets to the point. It's great.
Yeah, that was just great because I'm a little older and I would have been told like, don't do that. That's embarrassing. And people now they're just like, you know what? I've had enough.
Right. And that's one of the least most embarrassing things on TikTok this afternoon, I'm sure.
I'm sure.
So with that being said, Doug, what are you drinking?
Well, I'm gonna pull one out. Do you have one going? Because I didn't even open my bag yet. So
I usually sometimes do, and I'm over here trying to figure out what I want to do. I got a diverse plate here with all these. Oh, okay.
Well, Rheingeist Cloud Harvest 05. I'm not sure what the 05 is for. Unfiltered juicy IPA.
All my friends are in Cincinnati at HomeDeckCon right now, and Rheingeist is a Cincinnati brewery, so I'm sure they'll be enjoying that out there. Shout out to y'all.
Y'all.
And
I know that's a little bittersweet for you because you normally go to HomeDeckCon, so.
Yeah, this would have been like my 8th or something obnoxious like that.
Yeah, so, look at that.
Yes.
That's looking lovely.
Looking like an IPA. Okay, what? I don't know what I'm going to do here. Let's start with the dark lager. Fuck it.
That is not very IPA-y.
Okay.
It's very light drinker. It's only 5% ABV, but like it's not very hoppy at all. Now it's a hazy IPA. You would expect some hops going in there, but this is super crushable though. This because of it not being overly hoppy. I think you could just pound these. They're really good. I'm surprised. I was expecting a little more hops. What you got going? You said a dark lager.
What's it called again?
It is Cloud Harvest 05 unfiltered juicy IPA.
Oh. It should be, yeah.
Now I got that from my brother-in-law who was visiting us last weekend, and that might have been sitting in his fridge for a while. It's not malty at all, but
it sounds like it actually. Again, if it's a juicy one, yeah,
you get some of the juicy, but not a lot. So,
all right. So we have this here, and then we'll get to our guest real quick because I think, in fact, I already know she's hilarious. So it's just gonna be great. But I have a seed, sock, and roots from Barrel and Flow. It's a
what collab?
What's a Fonio? Oh, Daniel Fisher. Hello. Daniel Fisher can tell us what a Fonio grain and molasses dark lager is. Now, I just poured it out. It's dark lager. I don't know what Fonio grain is. Y'all coming with, man, they coming out with these. I don't know what's going on. I don't know half the ingredients of beer anymore, Doug.
Yeah. That's because we're getting old.
I'll blame it on that for sure. This is a sweet beer. But it has an ending that is sharp, if that makes sense. I don't know if it makes sense to anybody. It's a sharp ending with a sweet base. It's pretty decent. I like it. It's light. It looks a lot lighter than it's pouring here.
Yeah, that doesn't look light, so.
No, and the mouth feels pretty. And it's giving off an alcoholic taste at the end, which is good. It's good.
Yeah.
It's just wow, this is unique. This isn't something that you're gonna get all the time. This isn't something that you're gonna get up the street.
That was a collab.
Yeah.
You said.
Yeah, it evokes footways of Africans and their essential lands in the American South. It's a rich dark lager brewed with fonio, an ancient African super grain used in food and beer for millennia.
Wow.
In the Americans, Africans created brilliant food and drinks from molasses. The seed springs and the stalk rises, and the roots run deep. 6.5. So yeah, it's a bigger one. It feels like a bigger one. This is Brooklyn Brewery and Cajun Fire. So hats off to them for this unique ass beer, which sounds like it has, a little history. And I just poured it all because I'm gonna finish it all. This is really, really good.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, not familiar with, even Daniel's not familiar with those.
Yeah, Daniel knows a lot about stuff, so
yes, he does.
Stumping him is like stumping a Jeopardy champ, so this is good.
Gonna pop it open in a few.
That's the cereal beers. Did you see the cereal beers Manny got?
Yeah, from Jerry, right?
Yeah, and it's all the like Count Chocula, Boo Berry, and Frankenberry takeoffs. So
love to see it.
Man, yeah,
love to see it. So, Doug, you ready for
our guest? Yes, we're lucky enough to have another New York Times bestseller. We had one last week with Mallory O'Meara.
We had one with Chuck Wendig.
Yeah,
I mean, we're piling them up here.
Yeah, how about that?
Wow, it's amazing. They're amazing.
Yeah, and this is a different one. Mallory O'Meara was basic research about girly drinks, which is great. Our guest tonight is going to be Jen Mann. She is a wickedly funny person. Started off with People I Want to Punch in the Throat and done a whole bunch of different things. She'll be on here to talk a bit about her newest book coming out. So, yeah.
The People I Want to Throat Punch. This was, again, I'm pretty sure it was before the pandemic, right?
Yeah, this was a couple of years ago, I do believe. So
right. So it's brilliant because she was pretty much foreshadowing how everybody feels during the pandemic. So that's, you know what I mean? Like there's some foreshadowing there. She may have not known it, but we're going to bring her on and we're going to find out. But to me, it's brilliant. I mean, how? Without further ado, Jen Mann.
Hey, you guys.
Hello. Welcome, Jen. What you got in your mug there? A giant mug.
My giant mug. I would tell you it's booze, but it's not. I'm sorry. It's Twinings English breakfast tea. I'm recording my audiobook starting Monday, so I'm trying to be nice to myself this weekend and take care of my voice. So I'm drinking tea in my Bite Me mug because it's cold. Christmas is coming, so.
Yeah, we don't always. You're not required to drink booze on here. We just call it Brothers and Booze.
Well, that's good because I did do a quick. That was my other problem too. Is I did a quick look around my house, and because I don't normally have stuff because I have teenagers now and they tend to steal that shit. And so, can I swear?
Yes,
please,
okay,
absolutely,
good.
Please.
Great. Like they tend to steal that shit, and so all I had was grape rum, which I can't even imagine what the fuck that tastes like. So I decided I'm going to go with tea.
Great.
Oh my God.
I'm not even gonna go there.
Right?
That sounds like something you'd like score for like a college party because it was all you could scrounge. Yeah. Like a grape rum.
Grape rum. I keep asking people like, what should I drink with this besides like ice? I don't know. Like, what do I mix with grape rum? How bizarre.
Grape juice. Grape juice.
Yeah, exactly.
Put it in a sippy cup. There we go.
Wine.
So Jen, go ahead, Greg.
No, Doug. My bad. You go.
Yeah. So we brought you on here one because you and I talked a lot through the pandemic at various places, just checking on each other. It'd be something where I just poke, hey, how are you doing over there? Everything okay? And it's going to sound silly, but stuff like that mattered during the pandemic a lot to me. So I appreciate that. But
wait, Doug, y'all met during the pandemic?
No. We've been Facebook friends for a bit. And one of the things that was, I think you pinged me to write in an anthology and it was for teachers. And I just couldn't come up with anything. I was just like, I felt bad. But so we brought you on because we want to have fun. And also we want to talk about your projects. You got a boatload of things going on all at once. So why don't you tell us a bit about your book coming out and your podcast and stuff, please?
Right. So, So I'm best known for People I Want to Punch in the Throat. I've got several books in that series, but just kind of pre-pandemic, I guess I signed a contract to pivot. I have to change. I could only write so many funny stories about raising kids. My kids are teens now; they're not cute anymore. And I went through like a midlife crisis just before the pandemic, which was great. So it's been a really great 3 years now. And so I wrote this book called Midlife Bites, and this one's coming out in January. And then I needed to do something because, it's weird. Like, I feel like I still have to be kind of creative, but I'm really kind of burnt out on blogging. I can't really write a book right now because I've got this one coming out. And so I was like, you know what? Podcasting is the new blog, right? Like, I'll just start a podcast. So I did that. And today I released my 5th episode. Yeah, there it is. No pants required with Jen Mann. So
I saw that. So what kind of guests are you? Is there a particular kind of guest you're looking for podcasts, or what can people expect if they want to listen to that?
Yeah, I was gonna say you're supposed to have a theme.
Look at Doug trying to get on there.
I am not the the person to be on there.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
I really, I guess that's the thing. You're supposed to have a theme, aren't you? I just wanted to interview. It's an interview style podcast. It's just me, and so far it's been me and one guest. Sometimes I've had two, like you guys. Like I interviewed a couple women who do a podcast together, so I had them both on, kind of thing. But it's just me kind of talking to people. It's just checking in. How are they? What are they doing? What are they working on? What's keeping them up at night? What's motivating them to keep going? Just anything like that. And we talk for about an hour or so, and then I let them go, and we go our merry way. But so far it's been almost all women. I just next week I release my first dude. I haven't interviewed a guy yet, so he'll be my first next week. But I think how I am. I mean, I primarily focus on women and women's issues and that kind of thing. So I think that'll be the bulk of who I interview. But I don't know yet. I'm kind of going where the wind blows me. That's kind of my motto, isn't it? I'm a pantser, so we'll see. Even though I don't like to wear them, but we'll see.
So the throat punch series, I didn't know was a series until a few minutes before we went live here, and I'm gathering your links and gathering the things that we want to talk about to make sure we have them so everybody can know where to get them. And I just thought that, first of all, the whole throat punch thing is, as I said right before it's absolutely pandemic kind of like pre-thought. Pre-pandemic, we didn't really, I didn't really think of I just didn't really think there would be a time where we would be so like divided. I know it's cliche to say, but it's even beyond. I mean, even leading up to the pandemic, we had, how divided we were politically. And then the pandemic has just taken us thrown us into this area where even places where we agree, people are fighting.
Yeah.
And people are going after that. One really funny thing, one anecdote before I get to my question is the Cleveland Browns. Like, I don't know if you know anything about football or anything, but long story shorter, the Cleveland Browns are a football team that's been around forever. They have a long storied history. Most of the history was better a long time ago. They moved to Baltimore. NFL gave Cleveland an expansion team, and we have sucked for 20 plus years. This is the first year that we have like a clear cut, really, really, really good team, Jen, and they're gonna go far and do really good things. They may win, they're just gonna go far and do things. You can just tell, like, when you're around teams. And our fan base is fighting more than I've ever seen them before. So the success of the franchise has nothing to do with how the fans are going at it. And it's just another, in my opinion, symptom of the pandemic. Really, I blame a lot of things on the pandemic. I blame my health, Doug. I blame everything on the pandemic. Fuck it. At this point, It's still going on. I don't care what y'all say. To me, it's still going on. Okay, I know we want to get back. I know some people don't believe it. I know you don't believe it because you don't wear your mask. I know you don't want to get a vaccine because you don't care. I understand. I got all that, but I think it's still going on. Okay, that's my personal opinion. And the residual effects of it are going to go forever. So y'all need to check out her Throw Punch books. Not only do y'all, I do, because it's not just so. I want you to speak a little bit about because that was a New York Times bestseller, the first one, right?
Yes, it was.
And then there are there's a series of them, right? So I want you to really get into that, and I want you to get into that and explain how the first one came, and then how did the series go, and how long has this been going on? When did the Throw Punch thing start?
Yeah. So, well, first, I just want to say the only thing I do know about football, I don't know what you guys are doing this year, but I live in Kansas City and we have Patrick Mahomes. And that's all I need to know about football is that he's going to do everything we need him to do. And, you know, I understand he's having a little bit of a rough spot or something like that right now, but he'll be back and we're going to be fine because Kansas City, we don't ever win anything. So we're it's not happening for you guys. I'm sorry. We have Patrick now. So that's all I know about Kansas City.
And the reason that y'all are sucking is not because of him, by the way.
Good. I'm so glad to hear that.
Right.
He seems like a nice boy.
They can't stop any. They can't stop anyone on defense, and he doesn't play defense, and he's never going to. So it's not his fault.
Okay.
So,
good.
Yeah.
Well, good. And I just know that if I don't wear red on Fridays, people will spit on me. That's all I know. But what the other thing I was going to tell you though is I think the good thing. I see what you're saying about the pandemic, but I will tell you that the world has always been full of assholes, and we just didn't know it. And the nicest thing about the pandemic is now they're wearing fucking signs. Like now we know exactly. like it was like I always suspected you were an asshole, but you've proved it. Like I have all the receipts now. So that has been the really great thing because I know exactly, I know exactly who to avoid. When I walk into a room and I look around and someone's like, I don't believe in science. I'm like, cool, get the fuck out. So I think it's been really nice because I used to have to just kind of guess and be like, she looks like someone who doesn't believe in science, but I'm not sure. Plus, who would have thought that we would ever fight about believing in science? That's the other thing. Like, I'm just sort of like alternative. I had someone last night tell me, she was like, well, I have a different set of facts for you. And I was like, I'm super good with my facts. Thank you.
Right.
I'm super fine. Thank you very much. So I started this back in 2011. 2011, I was a realtor and I worked from home with my husband, and he had been laid off during the Great Recession of 06. And so we were working together, and it was supposed to be a temporary thing, but it did not turn into a temporary thing. It turned into a permanent thing. And so the two of us were working from home. He is a cheapskate. He is a notorious cheapskate, and so he decided to pull our kids out of daycare and have them work quietly at our feet while we sold houses. And so I was going kind of crazy at that point, and I didn't feel like I was a good mom. I didn't feel like I was a good wife. I didn't feel like I was a good realtor. And instead of going to therapy because we couldn't afford it, my husband said, you should start a blog. All the moms have one. You should go get one. And I didn't know anything about a blog. I didn't know what they were, but I went out and I kind of looked around, and everything was so goddamn perky. Like it was just this is 2011. This is like the rise of the mommy blogs. Pinterest had just come into existence. I didn't know what it was yet, but I knew it was changing the world. And everybody was talking about how much they love to dust on Wednesdays. And I thought, these women are liars, and I do not want to be a part of this world. And so I did not want to do it. And my husband said to me, well, don't you see, you'll be the anti-mom blogger. You will tell the truth. You'll say, I love my kids. I love my husband. I hate to clean. And I want to run away sometimes. And he's like, and you call it people I want to punch in the throat because you say it all the time. So I started blogging, and I did feel a lot better. He was right. I kind of started to find my people. I found 70 people who liked what I had to say. And then that Christmas season, and that's why I have my cute little Bite Me mug, because that Christmas season, I wrote a blog post about the elf on the shelf. And if you have small children watching this, now's the time for them to leave, because I wrote about the elf, and I wrote about what a pain in the ass he is, and I just wanted to put him into a coma. And so that blog post went viral, and it was read by 1 million people in 24 hours. And
Wow.
I was sort of rocking in a corner, breathing into a paper bag. And my husband was like, "What do you want to do tomorrow?" And I was like, "Don't." And I was like, I'll never top this. And my husband is a truther 100% of the time. And he was like, "Oh yeah, no, like you're at the pinnacle. This is the top. Like you'll never get higher." But he's like, "On our first date, you did tell me you wanted to be a writer. Here's your chance. Like the internet is available. You can do this. I think you can turn this into something." And so I started writing 5 days a week on peopleiwantopunchinthethroat.com. And by the following Christmas, I had self-published my first book called Spending the Holidays with People I Want to Punch in the Throat. And then that led to Random House finally noticing the screaming lady in the middle of the country. And so they gave me a deal. They bought People I Want to Punch in the Throat, Competitive Crafters, Drop Off Despots, and Other Suburban Scourges. They also bought the Holidays book, that Spending the Holidays book, and they made it so much better. And then since then, I've published Working with People I Want to Punch in the Throat, Traveling with People I Want to Punch in the Throat. And then there's another book called Just a Few People I Want to Punch in the Throat. And I call that my B-sides. Those are stories. Normally my books have themes, working and holidays, whatever. Mm-hmm. And these were stories that were too long to be blog posts, but I didn't have a whole book around them. And so they're just kind of a hodgepodge. It's a mystery bag of great stories. And then in 2012, I started publishing the anthologies, which is what Doug was talking about. I started publishing the anthologies, and the first one I published was called I Just Want to Pee Alone. I invited 35 other lady writers to join me, and I told them to tell me a funny story. And we put that one out in 2015 and 2012. 2012, we put that one out. And 2 years later, though, it hit the New York Times. So that's kind of my book about, like, don't give up. You never know. Everyone thinks they have to hit the New York Times in the first week, but that one took 2 years. So you just never know.
Wow.
And then every year I put out a new anthology.
Yeah, that's like a slow burn kind of bestseller there. That's not something that I've heard a lot of, that it gets that long, but that's great.
It was like a Mother's Day. I think nothing new had been released that week. And so the stars collided and we got it. So
right. But that makes,
know.
That kind of makes sense though, given that you were an unknown, with all due respect, an unknown internet bomb writer. Mm-hmm. And that makes sense that it took a while for you to, gain even after going viral. You went viral on a blog post. You didn't go viral. Well, you eventually went viral as far as, selling books to get to the New York Times. But sometimes one of the shows that I've picked up during the pandemic, actually, I didn't know anything about it. Not that I know anything about it. I knew it was around, but I didn't really watch it, was Shark Tank. And they talk, or on Shark Tank, they talk about sometimes where people go viral with their products, but then they don't have products. They just go viral, like with
an idea.
An idea and an Instagram post. But the problem is, Doug, when they go viral, they're not going viral to people going to their, to their add a cart, and then they don't have a product. So then when they get a product, they have to somehow reharness that. And I think Jen kind of went through that, right?
I would think, a little bit. I mean, for me, luckily, I am the product. And publishing is fairly accessible. I don't know if I'd say it's easy, but it's accessible. Whereas I think I just had someone on my podcast. Yeah, I had her on, I think yesterday or the day before. I was interviewing her, and she was talking about how she has a product, and I was like, how would you even know how to begin to go make a product? Like, how would you know where to go? Like, what factory do you go to? So I think it's a lot different when you're making the Scrub Daddy versus, just, a book of angry rants. And so it's a little bit easier. And for me, it was more just feeding that beast and kind of growing that social media platform so that I knew I'd have an audience to sell it to. And that's really where it kind of came down to, is like, that's why I had to blog 5 days a week. Like, I still worked full time, and I would just like stay up late at night and write my blog post for tomorrow and that kind of thing.
Right.
And learn about social media.
So what I'm hearing is that, you can correct me, but going viral was easier than what happened after, basically.
Oh God, yes. Well, and that's the thing. I think, and so many people are like, oh, teach me how to do it. And I'm like, bitch, if I knew how, I'd do it every day. But,
Yeah,
you know, it's like things have to just like line up. And then like I tell people, and for a long time, really after that, I would actually like, I would see other mom bloggers go viral. And I'm trying to think if I did it with men too, but mostly like other mom bloggers that would go viral. And I would like reach out to them immediately. And I would be like, hey, I know this is really scary, but if you want this shit to go, like, here's what you have to do. Like, don't take your foot off the gas. Like, now is the time to like go. Because I think that's the thing, is that I had seen so many people before me and after me that, you know, they'd have this viral moment, and then 2 weeks later they'd come back and they're like, hey, I'm back. I had a meltdown, but I'm good now. And everybody's gone. You know, the internet is a fickle beast. And so yes, I always say like I had good luck, but then I had to get to work.
Yeah. So you had mentioned about doing a pivot. All right. So like, because your kids are older, I used to write a lot for doing stuff about my kids, but you know, my kids are teens, and now it's all about making sure it's okay with what you post because that affects them. And is that part of the pivot, is understanding that like you can't really, you know, if you put stuff online, you got to be wary of what you're doing because that does affect your kids' lives in a different way, which is why I've kind of not written anything about my kids in years. That I think was kind of the impetus for the pivot, or was it also like a combo with the quote unquote midlife crisis?
I think it was all of it coming together. I mean, my son, he's oldest, he's 16. He was 12 when he asked me to stop writing about him, and I've pretty much honored that for the most part. My daughter would have a whole book about her if I'd let her, but she, you know, it's like, what is it? The little kids, little problems, big kids, big problems, you know? And so it's like, we're not ready. We're not at a point yet where we can laugh at some of this stuff yet. I mean, I've got it all written down and I'm remembering it all. And I'm hoping someday when they're 30 and we've all been through therapy together, I can write about it. But, you know, because especially my son, like his friends, they find everything I do and they make fun of it. And they, you know, I'm a Karen and I'm, you know, I'm super weird and, you know, all these things. So I'm like, hey boys, I hope you're watching tonight. Yay. You know? And so, you know, it's stuff like that. And so, and I think the other thing too is like when they were cute, they were sassy when they were little, but now, you know, they're mouthy when they're teenagers. And so, you know, you're kind of like, hey now. And then, yeah, I think, I mean, that was part of it. You know, 2 years ago, it's like I woke up and I thought, you know, I never had felt, I kind of felt like I'd made it through my 30s, even my early 40s. I was, you know, kicking into my late 40s at that point. And I just thought, oh shit, like my life is seriously half over. Like I'm not living to 100. Like what the heck, you know? And so it's like, what have I done? Like, what have I even done? And I looked at kind of my career and I wasn't really thrilled where I was at that point. I looked at my marriage and I was like, it's another 20 years with this guy and he's going to chew like this all the time. Like, is this what we do now? Like, this is the guy, this is okay. And then I looked at my kids and I was like, when did they become kind of assholey? Like, I mean, are they ready to go to college? Like, have I taught them enough? And so I just was sort of having this whole like spiral. And I was kind of like freaking out and telling my husband, and I'd gone to my doctor and I told my doctor and I was like, I'm angry. Like I've always been angry. Like I was born pissed off. I'm like, but like now I like literally fantasize about burning shit to the ground, you know? And he was like, yeah. He was like, have you heard of perimenopause? And I was like, the fuck is that? And he's like, well, that's like before menopause, you get this really fun time. And I thought, so let me get this straight. Like I have been bleeding since I was 12 and I get pissed off even more so every month. And now you're telling me I have another joyride until I'm 60. Yay. And so I said, well, give me something, give me pills, give me whatever. And
give me pills.
Yeah. Like make me better, you know? And he's sort of the philosophy that like, you just have to like get through it. And I was like, oh buddy, I'm going to burn your office down. And so I left and I went home and my husband was out of town and I called him and I was crying on the phone and he was like, are we getting divorced? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know what's happening. And I have always been a person who writes through my emotions. That is my therapy. That is the way I process. That is how I understand things. And I have always been a person that sort of, I need my community I help them know they're not alone and they help me know I'm not alone. And I had really gotten away from that. And he was like, you need to write about this because I'm promising you, like, you could have a bonfire tonight and like 1,000 women would show up to burn with you, you know? And he's like, I promise. And so I wrote this blog post called Anyone Else Falling Apart, or Is It Just Me? And that one, I hadn't blogged in years. My poor blog had dust all over it, but that one broke out again. And then my editor came to me and she was like, this is your next book. And I think that's part of it too, is I was kind of stuck thinking like, I can't just keep going on with people I want to punch in the throat. I love it, but I don't have any more. I just don't have that much more in me, you know? And so to me, this is the next logical step. It's still a very funny, very irreverent, you know, I talk about everything in this book like I always talk about in everything, but it's also more vulnerable, which was hard and gross, but I did
it. So the point of the perimenopause, my wife has that, and it's hard.
It is
it's hard. And listen, I'm watching it from the outside, and it's hard watching it and being like, how can I help? Like, I have no clue what to do. That's not a dig on her. I'm a fixer. I need to fix shit, and I can't fix any of it.
Well, see, and I think that's the thing. Like, men are fixers and women are bitchers. And so, like, we're venters. And, you know, and so I've gotten to the point with my husband where I'm just like, I don't want you to fix it. I just need you to nod and be like, that's fucked up. Like, that's all you have to do. Like, just listen to me.
This isn't. Oh, I'm sorry, Jen. Keep going.
Oh, no. And so that's Doug. I think that was good though, because that's a lot of kind of what we talked about during the pandemic. Like when you would check in, you're like, how are you? And I was like, oh, buddy.
Yeah.
Like, I am not well, but that's fine. And you're like, yeah, neither's my wife. I'm like, yeah, go make her like dinner and tell her she's amazing. Cause but good for you, because I think that's the thing is like, I created a community on Facebook. I have a private group on Facebook for Midlife Bites, and it's got 27,000 women in there. And they're all sharing stuff all the time. And I can't tell you how many husbands don't get it. So I'm always happy when I find one who does.
And this isn't the first time, Doug, that we've heard this on the stream, which is sometimes we just have to, as men in relationships with women, when they're quote unquote bitching, quote unquote, to just shut the hell up and listen and not try to fix things. You can almost make it worse. And Doug and I have talked personally about, I think we've talked personally about times where we've made it worse, where we're trying to jump. We're trying to jump in fixing shit. And really all they want is just a shoulder to cry on. Yeah. Right. Or, you know, I like to say, you know, a shoulder to cry on, which is not literally to cry, but like, you know, to venture, sometimes literally to cry, but right. But really just to have that emotion and not say anything. But it's hard as hell though, Jen, because again, we're told that we're supposed to be fixers, and that's the whole masculinity thing. So you're almost going up against, not almost, you are going up against toxic masculinity that can fix everything. Jen, we can fix. We're Bob the Builder. Can we fix it? Yes, we can.
Well, if you want to fix it though, here's the thing. I do have a chapter in my book called I Do Every Fucking Thing. And a few years ago, like my husband was like, how can I help you? And he's like, and he said, and he was so smart about it, because he was like, I've noticed that there's always laundry in the living room that's either needs to be done or needs to be folded and put away. Like the laundry is always there. And I was like, what's your point? And he was like, I was like, I'm busy. I'm writing a book. Right. You know? And so he was like, so how about I will do the laundry. Does that sound okay? And I was like, that sounds fucking amazing. Yes. You know? And so I'm like, that's the kind of fix that we need. Like, do that. You know, he loves to go to the grocery store, but then he'll say like, we should all go. And I'm like, no, just take my list and go to the grocery store. You know? We don't all need to go.
Amen. And just a quick comment, because you brought him up a couple times. And Doug knows that I love the dynamic of creators, and I love when I love the environment, and I love sometimes the way that we learn even through the stream about how creators create and how they're inspired and where they get the inspiration from. And it sounds like to me that your husband is really in tune to, and it's a great thing, and this is how it should be, but he's really in tune to who you are. And because he was really, he's given some very, very pointed wonderful. I mean, I know. Listen. We're men, and I got it. And I know not all of his suggestions are on point, and all of his suggestions are something that you take. But the fact that he knows, he kind of not knew you better than you, but was able to be like, "Hey, you're a writer. You wanted to write. Let's do this. Let's run." And then even when you're writing, he's even saying, he's even putting these little nuggets and Easter eggs I like to put in your head, and it sounds like you're just running with a lot of those. Obviously you have your own ideas and stuff like that, but it seems like he's in a great spot to just put little things around, around Jen, and then Jen's like, "Yeah, that's great," or "Yeah, come on, dude, no." But like, it seems like he's had a really positive effect on your writing career. I don't know if you want to. I mean, you've already said it, but I don't know. I'm going to give you a little bit more space to expand a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, we didn't get married till I was 30. It took me a real long time to find somebody who actually got me. I'm a lot, and I know I'm a lot, and so and he's a lot. Like I always say, like I'm like, we have to stay married because no one else will marry us, so it's okay. But he comes from a creative background. Like he went to film school, so he kind of understands like that creative side of me, and he's right. And on our first date, he was like, "What do you want to do with your life?" And I was like, "I'm going to write the great American novel." And he was like, "Cool, I'm going to make a film and win an Oscar." And I was like, "Cool." I'm like, "We're going to be so fabulous and creative together." And then 10 years later, we're folding laundry in our living room in Kansas and doing nothing. And so it just kind of, but when it happened, I think, when the viral hit happened, he could see a path. He is definitely someone, I would say he should be like a life coach or something, because he definitely sees paths that other people don't.
He has a vision.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he has like long-term vision.
He does. And he knows how to get to that goal. Like, he's like, if that's the goal, like he's the one who put me on the New York Times, he's like, if that's what you want, then this is what we have to do, and so, and he's very supportive. He's been very supportive of it. And he was, we worked full time still, and I would write at night, but like he'd get up, I'd stay up late at night and I'd write. But in those days we still had little kids. Our kids were only like 3 and 5 or something. And so he would get up in the morning, because I'd finish writing about 4 o'clock in the morning and I'd go to bed. And so he'd get up with our kids and like get breakfast. And at first, he was sort of like, "No, I enjoy this because like I get to hang out with them then. Like I'm with them." Like he would, and that's the other thing, he looks at it in a positive way, not that he has to do it, that he gets to do it. And so I think that's too. And he loves helping people realize their goals and dreams. And so that's part of it too.
It's cool. It takes some time to find the right partner, doesn't it, Doug?
Yeah.
Yeah, some of us did it once and really fucked it up the first time, like me.
Right, but again, that fuck up though, I always love to remind Doug and people who say that growing and that experience led to where you are and who you're with today. So
and I should clarify, it wasn't really a fuck up. I got 2 great kids out of it, and we weren't right together. We were bad for each other, but
sure, and that can happen. Right.
And we co-parent very well now, so it's much better. But like when we were together, that was like cats and dogs fighting constantly. Wasn't great.
Yeah, and we're not going to get in a big old relationship thing, but I think this is part of the problem with really trying to settle down with someone who's early in your life, because you have to make sure you're with someone who's going to be available and willing for you to change. And you're so young, like 20s is so young. You're not that person you're going to be when you're 48. You're just not. I don't care what you say. You're not. So if to have someone who's going to be able to grow with you for many of those years, I mean, that's just tough. It's just tough on both people, I think, actually, because again, you're going to be a different person at the end of all of this. So is that person willing to grow with you? And it sounds like Jen's husband is not only willing to grow with her, he has, and he's really, he was really accepting to, and he probably saw where, he probably saw that first date, because sometimes people say that, like, the first date, I could just tell I was going to be with her, and I could just tell we were going to have kids. I could just tell it was going to work. And I'm like, how the hell did you see that shit? But some people are like that. So it sounds like Jen's husband was one of those guys that, like, he saw where he would go with Jen, but he also saw where Jen would go with herself, and he was open and willing with that.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I heard from someone a few years ago. I heard from a guy I had dated before him, and he said something about like, oh, you're a rock star now. And, you know, I wonder what it would be like to be married to a rock star. I could have been married to a rock star. And I wanted to reply. I didn't reply to him because I just thought, I'm not going to even open that can of worms.
Yeah.
But I just thought, you know, my initial thought was, I don't know that I would have been a rock star with you though. Like, I don't know that I needed him to push me. And it's funny that you said that, you know, he pushes, but then he also like micromanages. And so some days I enjoy the push and other days I'm like, back the fuck off. I got it.
Right. So it's not all sunshine and daisies is what I wanted to kind of, you know, but nothing really is. You know. Right. Nothing really is. And I don't know, Jen, you seem to be one that, you know, sometime maybe wants a little pushback and wants someone to say the things that no one else would say to you. And it sounds like he's that guy. So that's a really good thing too. Because sometimes, again, that person that you're close to needs to deliver things that you necessarily don't want to hear, but they need to be delivered. And I've, you know, with my recent health things going on, that's what my significant other has offered to me is just, you know, that kind of like straight talk shit that I don't want to hear. But I gotta hear it. Like, you gotta eat that banana instead of eating that pizza. It sucks. And I even tell her, I was like, you're sapping the joy out of my life. Right. And then she goes, well, I'm extending your life, motherfucker. So now what? And I'm like,
there'll be more joy.
So we have that, right? So there'll be
more joy when you're not dead.
Right. Exactly. Bingo.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I was going to have a question if you don't mind.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah. So Jen, you were talking about the idea of like I said about being a fixer part. So I'm circling back a little bit to that. I heard a phrase one time that maybe wasn't the best phrasing, but I think it's pretty poignant. And like the idea is like, if your partner is like venting and frustrated, and I heard one person say you should ask them, do you want empathy or solutions? And I'm like, solution sounds a little harsh, but you know, that's actually the idea of like, do you want just an ear or do you want me to help in some way? And like, it's interesting because, you know, I'm 50. So like my upbringing was like, you need to shut up and just do stuff because that's your role. And, you know, if something's wrong, you need to fix it. That's your role. It's taken a lot to undo that. It's really weird because like you know, my dad's very stoic and just kind of fixes stuff and does things. And he's funny as hell, but he just like really, when it comes to things like it's, I don't know. I just find that phrasing of the empathy versus solutions idea is a good one. I just think maybe solutions a little harsh. Is that something that you would think is a decent way, or do you have an other way of looking at it?
I mean, I'm always phrasing it as, you know, I don't need you to fix it. I just need you to listen to me and empathize. I think the empathy is the key because sometimes, you know, he'll listen, but he'll clock out. Like he'll just be like, that's dumb. You know, like that's a dumb fight. Like, it's not a dumb fight. Very important to me, you know? And then I think with the fixing too, the fix has to be more than just me. A lot of times, I think, I mean, depending on what the problem is, but like with the laundry, you know, like it has to be, how can he help fix this too, rather than just, well, you know, Jen, if you got up an hour earlier every day, you could do more laundry. you know, like that's not helping me. so it just sort of depends on what the context is and what you're worried about. And so like but business wise, like, you know, if I come to him with like a business problem, it's always a fix that I need. You know, it's like, it's always, hey, you know, starting this podcast, I was like, I don't know what platform to put it on. I don't know how to edit it. I don't know how to do any of this stuff. And so I need you to fix. You know, I need you to figure this out. So it just depends.
So Doug, I found that it's good sometimes to double back, meaning give the empathy then, but like double back on the solution. Meaning, so like come back like the next day and say, hey, we were talking about you starting your podcast. And I was thinking, and I just go into it, as opposed to just giving the solution right then. Because then again, like a lot of times I don't think your significant other is looking for a solution at that time. But ultimately, in their head they are, and ultimately, they want something. So usually giving it a day and doubling back, they'll either be like, oh yeah, no, I took care of that. Like I already called that man and just told him off and it's over and we're done. Or it's like, oh no. And and then at least like there's that there's a thought there that like you are thinking just beyond that. Like you have their problems forefront in your head. You have something, you know what I mean? You're
Yep.
So the doubling back, and then again, usually the emotions off too when you double back. So and you can control that actually. As far as approaching your significant other when they're all hyped up and ready to, you know what I mean? It's like, we all know yelling at a lady, calm down when they're all crazy is not the fucking answer. So you don't do that. So my point is that like you approach them when they're calm, and then that's when I usually say, hey, you know what, you might be able to do this, or I was thinking, and you can. So I think there's time for the solution. I just think that we just don't need to give that back immediately. So with that being said, Doug, we should have another beer here, right?
Yeah, what you got?
I got some crazy IPA here that's really, really good. Blockbuster Night, Part 1.
Run the Jewels.
Run the Jewels.
So it's got the Run the Jewels thing, yeah.
Run the Jewels, yes. It's a IPA with terrapins. I don't know what the hell that is.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
Again, it's a standard IPA. It's really tasty. It's nice and great. And after we get to yours, we'll do what are we watching? Because after that, I have a pop culture-ish question I got to get Jen. I have to get her opinion on it. So.
All right, I went with this from Wolf's Ridge Brewing, which is a coffee vanilla cream ale. So
coffee vanilla cream ale.
Yeah,
like a morning beer.
Well, if you look at it, it says iced coffee is one of the ingredients there.
Yeah.
So light-bodied, brilliant clarity iced coffee. So I poured it. It's really tasty. It's the coffee is not like overpowering, which is tough in beer sometimes. But cream ales just really are good with coffee. I've had a couple of them and none of them have disappointed. So really good.
Okay.
Man, he's right. Every morning needs a beer. Jen's not a coffee person, it sounds like.
I am not. Tea. It's what's for breakfast, dinner, and nighttime.
Well, we're gonna find out what. So we like to ask, especially creative people who write, what they're watching, because y'all watch Chuck and Mallory and everybody. Y'all watch some crazy ass shit, y'all creatives. So what y'all watching, Jen?
Well, I just finished the Squid Games. That one, number 1 in all of Netflix. So I'm super basic. And but I started it when it was still number 4. So I was ahead of the curve.
Gotcha. Is it?
And I haven't started anything new yet. I don't know what to watch. What are you guys watching? What do you recommend?
Is it? What
do you think of it?
Yeah. What's up with it?
What did I think of it? So I really liked the beginning of it. I like the premise of it. It's definitely, there's a Hunger Games vibe to it, except you sign up for it. Like everyone there is there willingly. They want to be there. They want to play this game. And I enjoyed it until probably like the last third. It got kind of went off the rails a little bit. It was a little weird and a little hokey, but I liked the ending. I thought they wrapped it up well at the end, and I liked the end, which for me, that's always, if you can't end it well, then I hate it. So I can allow a soupy middle, if the end is good. So I like the ending, and I like the characters. There were no surprises, but I liked all the characters and stuff.
Gotcha. Doug?
All right. So I've watched something with Jill called Lularoe.
I watched that too.
That was excellent. And it's a great documentary about just the fucked up stuff that went on in Lularoe, how they screwed over just so many people.
Everybody.
Everybody. Lularoe, which is
look at those crazy eyes. How could you trust that woman? Come on.
You can't. But
yeah. So her and her husband like ran this Lularoe empire, which Lularoe was like kind of like stretch pants, but then they went into like a bunch of different other clothing. So it's basically an MLM. It's basically an MLM, and then they tried to make it so that they weren't an MLM by doing some sort of technicality, and just screwed over everybody. And it's just this study of like rich people fucking over poor people, who like a lot of single moms or a lot of mothers or people that are just investing like tens of thousands of dollars to get in, and then they get in and they're doing well, and then all of a sudden it just gets, the bottom drops out, and they're left with like tons of clothes that they can't sell. So yeah, it's a
and
mess.
They can't wear.
Yeah, they can't. Well, the thing
Some
is
of
too
it's
is like
damaged.
yeah, and the lady and the husband like were interviewed for the documentary when people were like shitting on them. They're like,
Right?
yeah, this is all false. And I'm like, who signs up to like get interviewed for that
I thought
documentary?
it was crazy. It was so interesting to watch him because, yeah, like I'm like, what did you think you were coming to? And then it's interesting that you said the rich like fuck the poor people, because that's exactly how Squid Games is too. No wonder I like them both. But like, I need more episodes. There's like they would just sort of gloss over things where she's like, well, our son married our daughter, and I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Like, I need
that needs to be a whole series all by itself
just to unpack that aside. I mean, I was stopping and like Googling. You know?
Yeah, that's something that if you want to watch something really messed up, that, and there was another one that I was considering watching called The Way Down, which is a documentary about a weight loss MLM that was also heavily tied into like evangelical Christianism, and it was just this mess of things that was just terrible. Yeah, we were in the mood for some really unsavory documentaries this week. So yeah. What about you, Greg? What do you got?
So I got something unsavory, but it's less about the show itself, and I really want to talk more around it. But I just started watching a show that everybody has seen, so I don't really even want to talk about it. I mean, we can if we want, but everybody's seen this shit. So I started watching Breaking Bad this week, and I've gotten through 2 seasons, and it's entertaining as hell, and it's everything that everybody said it was. It's fantastic. It's really binge worthy, and I'm a fan. The problem with me is the problem with my timeline with stories is that my kids grew up when people started like the beginning of like binging and stuff, Jen. So like I didn't see, like, if you know, this is what I want to talk about as far as Breaking Bad is the whole binging aspect of watching shows now. And I, remember back in the day when again a show started, and if it was like season 2, you would never start that show because you could never like start at the beginning. I never seen like 24 and all these other ones that I have in my queue now that I'm like looking to watch, because I just never jumped in because it was like season 3. Like before I found that the Game of Thrones that Doug loves, or Doug loved, or whatever, the Game of Thrones, before I knew that was a thing, it was in season 2. I'm like, is this a thing? I don't even have HBO. What the hell's going on? Like, and why is everybody talking about it? And why is it consuming my Twitter? And why is it trend every fucking Sunday? What the hell is going on? But I could never like really jump in. So like Breaking Bad, I already know it has a sequel and a prequel and another movie and another one, and it's I already know so much about it, but I just wanted to watch it, and it's fantastic. But that has changed so drastically our viewing, how we view TV. So I wanted to ask you, Jen, about because I think you're the same age bracket as Doug and I, so y'all know what I'm talking about as far as how it used to be. I remember a show that Doug never watched, but he doesn't watch these types of shows. Is one of my favorite shows ever is Sopranos. But
what's it called? Sopranos.
Right.
Okay.
But that show was one of those shows again where you had to be watching on Sunday nights at 9 p.m. on HBO, and that was it. I couldn't even imagine binging it now. I mean, I probably will, but I couldn't imagine how I would look at the show binging it as opposed to watching it every week and waiting for that. So like I just want to know your thoughts just generally on so when you binge a show, like so a good example is the sequel to or the prequel to Breaking Bad is called Better Call Saul. Now that show is still going.
Mm.
Now I have these conundrums. It's going to end soon. I already looked all this up. So this last season, blah, 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 blah. I looked all this up. So when you binge a show, Jen, do you like a show that has like many seasons, like The Wire or The Sopranos or GOT? When you binge a show, do you wait till it's completely over? Or will you jump in because you could just see all these things now? You weren't able to be like, I'm going to start at season 1 and just go. So like Better Call Saul, I don't know if I'm going to start it if I finish Breaking Bad. Like I'll probably finish Breaking Bad this week, as many shows as I've been watching. And then do I start Better Call Saul or do I wait till it's over? I don't know how to deal with this binging thing is what my point is.
You
I was
have
going to
to
ask
wait.
y'all.
Don't you have to wait? Like, because I mean, they released the prequel even after. It's sort of like the Star Wars movies. Like, what order do you watch them in? You know, we've been watching the Marvel movies in order, like do you watch them in chronological order? Do you watch them by date order? Like by, you know, and then where does WandaVision fit in? And like, you know, we have these whole like things, but I am a binger, and like, for instance, The Handmaid's Tale, like that pisses me off that they release an episode once a week. And so I wait till the whole thing is out. Then I can go on Hulu and I can watch it. And like, but some people will say, oh, it's so dark, I can't watch more than like one episode at a time. And I'm like, no, I need to know, because I forget. Like, you know, it's like you forget. I don't know how we kept track of, you know, where we left Paul Ingalls last week, but I remembered, and now I can't remember anymore. And so I'm a binger. And I will watch all of it, you know. But the thing about The Sopranos and like Game of Thrones, the nice thing about HBO is if you missed it, at least it was on like the on-demand thing like the next day. So those I'd kind of let like 2 or 3, because Game of Thrones especially, and I would watch a whole season again before the next season came out because I couldn't remember what the hell happened and where we left, you know, Khaleesi. And so it's just, yes, if you are a movie person, a TV person listening to this, please release it all at once, because there's nothing more frustrating than waiting.
What do you think about the ones that will like release 4 episodes and then make you wait a week? Is that better or worse?
It's probably worse, because then it's just a tease. Then you just teased me, because you know, Handmaid did that. Like this last season, they put like 3 out the first night, and I thought, oh hallelujah, they got the memo. You know, like we're supposed to. And no, that was just it. It was just a tease. So,
and that's a shame to hear, Manny.
The Soprano movie is trash. There was a movie. I didn't even know there was a movie.
Yeah, it's called like the Saints of New Jersey or something like that.
Yeah, it was just released like this week or something.
Oh, wow, I haven't seen it. Now I will say I wasn't crazy about the ending of Sopranos, though. It did not satisfy me.
Oh, I love the ending of Sopranos.
Yeah,
I love it.
Well, it still doesn't hold a candle to the worst ending of a show of all time, which is Lost. Lost ending was the worst. That's the worst ending of any show ever.
Worse than the Game of Thrones, Doug?
I was going to say Game of Thrones.
Which you weren't happy with, Doug. You were not happy.
I was not happy. Lost was such a fucking shit show at that last episode. I wanted to throw things at the TV. I was so mad.
Well, I think I checked out of Lost like once we had a polar bear, and then it never came back again. And I was like, the fuck is happening? Like, nothing was ever resolved, and nothing ever came back again. Like, the scary monster was always out there. And if one more person got kidnapped, that and Walking Dead, they just keep kidnapping each other. We don't even kill like zombies anymore. We just kidnap each other. So,
hey, I agree with you, Darren. I'm just saying Lost is exponentially worse. That was such a bad ending.
Okay, I've never seen one fucking show of Lost.
Don't.
So is the ending that bad that I just should skip it?
Yeah.
All right, so
see, this is
life is too short, Doug. He should not even start it.
You are right, because
don't even
Yeah, well, it's one of those things where like, do you hate watch it if it's not as good as you'd hoped?
Again, but to me, it's not bad enough to hate watch. Again, like you can't waste your time and energy on that. Like it's got to be really bad to hate watch it.
So like bad horror movies aren't worth your hate. You know what I mean? So like, right, you laugh at bad horror movies.
Well, or like
like the really bad ones.
Yeah, or like I have a 14-year-old daughter, and a few weeks ago we decided she's now into Twilight, and so we hate watch the Twilight movies again. And I was like, oh god, these are horrible, but they're so fun to make fun of. So it's like that kind of thing.
Yeah, but you get the humor to make fun of it at least. Like that's good. You know, you have something that's redeemable about it. Like
Right. So, Doug, will you again? I asked Jen, but will you? So, would you start a binge? Would you start binge watching something?
Sure. I'm
Before
not.
it ended, or do you have to? Does it have to end, or
No,
where's all that?
I am not a binge watcher. I can watch 2 to maybe 3 episodes of a show at once, at most. I am a fidgeter and I need to be doing shit, and I can't sit still that long. So if I watch 3 episodes of a show, my brain is like, "Hey, you lazy piece of shit, get up and go do something."
Mhm.
So, like, the only show that really doesn't do that for me is a show called The Expanse, which it's sci-fi and it's the
Oh, I
best.
love that show.
Yeah, that's like one of the best sci-fi shows I've ever watched. So,
Yeah.
but that show I could, and also those shows are only like
But
35 to
Yeah.
40 minutes long. So it's not like you're investing an hour to an hour and a half like you do with Game of Thrones.
Well, and I think it's the platform too. Like Netflix makes it so easy to go on to the next. Amazon does, like I watch Expanse on Amazon and it doesn't make it as easy.
No, it doesn't. It's not quite. It's not quite as. Hey, we're going to launch this right away, and you're just
Yeah.
like,
And so you start to think, you're like, oh, I should probably do something. And then, I'm squirrel and I'm gone. But
yeah,
Netflix really knows how to rope you into the next episode, whereas the other
Yeah,
guys, they
they
haven't
do.
figured it out yet.
that
Yeah,
is
they
that
do.
is that is
Sorry.
the ADD streaming app.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the damn and Netflix too. They start that shit. Like I just like sometimes I just want to like peruse Netflix and just add to my queue. I'm not really even looking to start the show, and they just start that shit on you if you just
Right.
sit there a while. They're just like, oh, okay, now you're interested enough, so now you're in. It's like, no, bitch, no, stop. And I'm like hitting back. And really, like I found this, Doug, you're right. I found this out with Breaking Bad. Like the next episode starts like 2 seconds after like the credits come on, and it's like, no, I'm not ready for that. Like sometimes I am, and sometimes I'm like, yes, give me that, and then other times I'm not. But it's just fascinating how this all works now. Again, given we grew up in a totally vastly different area as far as shows go. Doug talked about Expanse. Doug told me about before we started doing our What Are We Watching. Doug told me about Expanse months ago, and I watched the first 2 episodes. Doug, something didn't catch. So then what happened was. Then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, I saw something like Expanse is doing its last
season 6 is coming
the
out.
last
December.
season of Expanse has just been how they announced it's just been approved." And I'm like, "Oh, this shit ain't over. Oh,
No.
I'm gonna wait. Fuck it." So now like I put it in my head where like now I'm gonna wait. So now I probably won't see Expanse until I'm like 70. Because like now I'm gonna wait till it's over, Jen. Like there's just something in my head that's why I wanted to ask y'all, because there's something in my head that makes me like now I can binge this shit. Oh no, I'm just gonna wait, because if I catch up, then I'm gonna be pissed that there's no more Expanse, and then I have to wait like another week or whatever for it to come out, Jen. I'm so impatient like this. It's really, really bad. Like Doug talks about having ADD, but mine, I guess, makes me feel like I need to have it all at like in my control. And I need to be able to watch that when I want to watch it. And I'm not waiting, Doug, for another season. I'm just gonna it's just a messed up. That's what I'm saying. They got me fucked up in the head about how I think about like, TV shows and shit. So it's just funny. It's just weird how it all works now, is what I would just want to say.
Well, and I think binging too, though, it also like it exposes me to shows I maybe would never watch, but because they're like 25-minute episodes and they just run into the next, like I'm obsessed with these like wilderness shows where they drop you like in Alaska with nothing but
Alone.
like 13 items, and they're like, good luck. And I'm like, and my husband and I, like, we actually like have fights over it where he's like, I would survive. I'm like, you would die. Like,
hey, listen,
like, I think I
grew up.
I would train.
Yeah, I grew up hunting and fishing. I would last about 3 hours out in that environment. I'd be like, "Fuck this! Take me somewhere where I'm not cold."
We're talking about Alone, right? I would last a fucking hour on Alone.
Oh, I don't even know. Like, I think I'd get there and I'd take like I'd be like, "Can I have my phone? I just need a couple selfies and I'm out." Like, like no, there's no way. Like, And I'm always hoping like some lady will win, and they get so close. But I'm like,
no, right.
I was like, there's bears. I mean, like when they go out and they're like, hey bear, I'm like, oh fuck that. Like, no, I'm out. But I do, because to me that exposes me to something that I will never see anywhere else. So
and
I'll never be out there.
Have y'all seen? I've seen all the seasons. There are some kick-ass ladies they have on there, and the fact that they, you know what I mean? Like I've been rooting for a lady for many of those shows, and it just hasn't happened yet. And it's going to happen eventually. But they put some. It wasn't by lack of effort. How about that? Because there's some kick-ass ladies on that show.
Half the time they get sent home because they lost too much weight, and so
right.
And so I'm like, well, shit, I've got the ass. Let's go. Like, I might be able to last. Because there was one episode, there was one season. You remember that big guy that all he did was like lay in his tent for like the last like 20 days, and like
that was Alan. I remember that guy, and he was like this Southern philosopher kind of guy. It was I
was like, oh, I could do that. Like, I could just lay there and live off my reserves. Like, it's like maybe I could win.
I have lots of reserves. I don't have enough.
That's excellent. That's excellent. Do y'all want to see a screaming crazy video?
Yes.
Hold your ears for this one.
You can't.
I'm sick of it. I'm just sick of it.
Whoa.
Just
no, just.
I want y'all to tell me what the hell is going on. What is her problem?
Just calm down now, calm down. All I want to say is you just need to...
Mate, please. I will throw what I want. I tell you what. Give me a packet of patches. I might as well have them. Because when I come here, I don't get what a bloody ass full them all. You might as well give me a packet of bloody patches. I'm sick of it. I'm not having it. Don't laugh at me, mate. I'll fucking have ya.
Oh, no.
Go on, get him.
Manager.
Get him now.
No.
Mental health is a real issue. Like a real issue. That lady has some serious mental health issues.
He says she's hungry.
He won't give her something though, right?
Cheese packet. She needs a cheese packet. God damn it. She's hungry. She's hangry. She's having a meltdown over cheese.
Okay. Oh, so it's cheese.
I think so. She's saying, give me a packet of cheese.
No, just calm down now, calm down. All I want to say is you just need to...
Mate, please. I will throw what I want. I tell you what. Give me a packet of patches.
Packet of packed cheese? Did I hear that right?
Yeah.
She's also British, so maybe packed cheese is something different than what we have here.
All right, let's Google it. Hold on.
Right.
I think we have to.
It's probably condoms.
Like she just looked like she was just at the end of her freaking tether. Like literally just like, I've had enough.
Speaking of at the end of your tether.
Yo.
You used to work here, right, bro?
Yeah. This guy just quit Walmart.
Yo, that is destroying Walmart. Yo.
He's not going to get a reference.
He is wildin'.
He's not going to get a letter of recommendation.
No.
Yo, Jeff, what's good with your boy, man? Oh,
right. What's up with
what happened, George? Yo.
All right.
He's just he's the asshole though, because he's just making it worse for his old employees, his friends. They got to clean up. Manager's not going to clean that up. Management doesn't get to do that.
Nope.
Jen, you stole all my thunder.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, and that's good because I don't have to say it. I'm glad. Jen, you were in the green room when we showed the guy with the governor earlier today. And Doug loved that. Now, I was going to say there's certain ways to do things and there's a certain way not to. And to me, that's not the way to quit Walmart because you are absolutely, positively, 100% right that you're screwing the people that are left. Yeah. And that's not cool because they have to clean that shit up.
A packet of cheese or cheese sticks. That lady was hangry.
Okay.
So
Now we know.
Now we know.
I
She's
figured
also unwell, but hangry. So give the poor woman her cheese.
Not a good combination.
Right. And Jen, we've shown back to the Walmart thing real quick. We've shown people what they'll do is they'll get on the mic at Walmart and just say, look, this guy's a scumbag. This job sucks. Y'all pay me this. I don't like this. And then they'll vent like through that. Like, to me, that's a better way of going out.
Yeah.
As long as you're being truthful about the stuff that you're saying. Like, don't slander anybody. Don't be this guy's an asshole. Well, if he wasn't an asshole, you're saying that. That's not cool. But at the same time, it's way better than you trashing a joint, which is going to ultimately just hurt the people who are already there. The 3 people that are left. It should be staffed by 8 people, but there's only 3. And you you become very unsympathetic at that point.
Right.
Even though I know that your job is probably shitty during a pandemic, it's Walmart. You're probably overworked. They never open up enough damn cashiers anyway, ever. So before the pandemic, they didn't. So you know that now they're really short-staffed. So I want to understand the guy's plight, because he probably has a reason why he's that angry. Yeah. It's just bullshit. At the end of the day, it's just more bullshit than not. And you're just feeding into it, bro. I can't. I'm with you, Jen. That's what I wanted to say about that. I don't know if you guys want to jump on. No. Okay.
I said my piece.
Okay.
I'm more on packet of cheese lady's side, I think, at this point, because I was waiting for her to flip a thing of chips or something on her way out the door, and she kept it together. She just needed her cheese, but no,
but she got really.
But I think that even if you get on the mic, though, even if you get on the mic on the way out and just be like, "This fucking sucks," like, you're still not going to get a referral. So you got to make sure, like, you're going somewhere. Like, I keep saying, like, no, I've written enough books at this point now that, like. And people get sent to HR. I have a book called Working with People I Want to Punch in the Throat. And when they leave it on their desk, they get sent to HR. So I know, like, no one will ever hire me again. Like, and if you do that, no one will hire you again. So I hope that you are a person who can create content for the internet now.
Right.
Or apparently drive for Uber or something.
Yeah, because you're fun.
Right. Doug, before we get to the third video, which is even crazier, you want to do your third beer? I'm gonna show him my third one.
Yeah, my third one is a big one, which is why I wanted to get it too. I just found it and I was very thrilled.
Okay.
Utopia's Barrel Age Worldwide Stout.
That's like that's when you share. That's when you share with someone.
Yeah, well, if you see the ABV, it's 17.2%. So yeah, I probably should.
So
share
Jen
that.
is right.
Doug will be passed out before this is over.
I have had not me, because Jen, I've had shows where I've had all my beers are 10% or more, and I somehow make it to the end of the show. I don't do well in the after.
I'm just gonna need a pee break soon because I have so much tea, but I'm not gonna get drunk.
Well, you let us know, Jen. If you want to let us know in the chat, we can just drop you off at any point. It's cool. Oh, okay. I'm just letting you know it's available though. It's available. That is a beer that I am jealous of.
Damn.
And I rarely am jealous of beers because I believe that beer is local and everybody has access to great beer. So, but that one.
All right. So I've never had Utopias. Greg, you have, I believe, at GABF.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken.
A couple times. Yep.
So you get the barrel age, but there's a flavor to it that it's almost not wine, like wine style. It's not wine, but like it has because it's a higher ABV flavor to it.
Yes.
That is really boozy, like really, really, really boozy. I'm not sure that I like it, which is rare for me because I love bourbon barrel aged beers. The smell is lovely though, which is so we'll see.
So you can just sit there and smell it the whole time instead of drinking it.
I don't think I like Utopias either, and it has a wine character.
Yeah, well, it's so high. Utopias are so Jen, like Utopias are like, this is Dogfish Head, and them and Sam Adams have combined, right? They merged, if I believe, right? And Utopias is like a beer Sam Adams puts out that's like $250 a bottle, and it's they only produce it like I think every 2 years. It's and it's like 25% alcohol or something. It's crazy.
It drinks more like a liqueur than it
Yeah.
does a beer.
Oh,
That's how it's presented.
there you go.
Yeah, and this like on the label, this is how the Utopia's bottles look. They have this like
Mm.
liqueur looking bottle. That's how they look.
Yeah, they do.
So
Look at that.
yeah, I'm not sure I'm crazy about the flavor with the Utopia's part of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jen, you sound like you are around beers, or do you drink beer? Or
I do drink
what?
beer. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think I'm the only middle-aged woman in America who doesn't drink wine. I drink beer.
Oh,
And so
Beer of
normally,
choice.
like I said, tonight I would have been with you guys, but I'm just trying to
work,
be
work.
nice to my voice.
Right. Work calls for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
So what's your beer of choice then, if you have any, or is it like a mishmash?
Yeah, whatever's on
She's
happy
in
hour.
She's in Kansas City, so Boulevard.
Yes, I do like Boulevard. In fact, with my Elf on the Shelf post that went viral, I'd written it and I had not put a picture in it because in those days we didn't put pictures on blogs and that kind of thing. And a friend of mine called me and said, you should put a picture on it so you can pin it on Pinterest. And I was sitting there watching the post go viral and I was having a Boulevard. And so I posed my elf hanging onto the beer bottle, and that was the picture. So yeah.
Look at that, Doc.
Yeah.
So there is a beer background here. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Cheers. And we respect that you are, pulling back to make sure
Trying to, yeah.
bigger and broader things are taken care of.
Yeah.
For
I got
sure.
3 days of
Yeah.
recording ahead of me, and you'd think I could talk all the time, but it's harder on my voice than you think. So
Right.
But when you record audiobooks, that's like a longer stint, isn't it? Like you're doing it in longer batches.
yeah, I'll have 3 days from 10 to 5, Monday to Wednesday this next week. So
7 hours.
Mm-hmm.
21
2
hours.
days. Usually the first 2 days are to really get it down, get through the whole book. And then the third day is like for pickups if I've messed stuff up and if I have things that didn't come through clearly or whatever, then the director will give me my notes and that kind of thing.
Man.
Damn. Yeah, right, Doug.
And it will be for Midlife Bites coming in January.
That's it.
So
Do that again, please. I missed it.
yeah. Midlife Bites available
There we go.
in January.
Right.
January.
Right, and then we'll cover everybody's face up with that. Yes. I found it fascinating that you were in pre-order, but I guess again, I don't know this process, Doug. I just find it fascinating that she's in pre-order like 4 months ahead because she's like, we asked her pre-production, everybody, just so you know, we asked her pre-production, what's going on, Jen? Or Doug sent her, hey, what's going on? What are you up to? And Jen's like, man, everything's about Midlife Bites. And I'm like, what's Midlife Bites? I don't even, and I was doing research on you. I thought we were going to talk about Throat Punch, and we did. But then I saw that it was pre-ordered. And I went and looked, and then everywhere it says pre-order in January. And I'm like, damn, they were, that's fascinating and interesting.
Yeah, the traditional publishers always like to do long pre-order so they know how many to run, how many to print. They get a better idea, and it helps them, like bookstores, to gauge what the interest is in the book and that kind of thing. So I'm always like, if you're going to buy it, if there's an author you like and there's a book that you're going to buy when it comes out, pre-order it because it will help that author.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Real quick, I didn't think we were going to get back here, but we are here. What is the thinking behind publishing it right after Christmas? Wouldn't you want to do it before?
Mm-hmm. So this book actually was originally, when we first talked about this book, it was supposed to come out this fall. It's supposed to be out now, right? And because of me, I could not get my shit together. I rewrote this book like 7 times. I couldn't figure out what path I wanted to take. And I kept telling my editor, I was like, hold on. I would have like these ideas like at the 11th hour. And I'm like, hold on. I just want to rewrite the second half of the book, And so I'm like, can I have a couple more weeks? And so we had to push the date. And then once they read it and stuff, once they started reading it and thinking about how to market it, traditionally you publish fall and spring are kind of the big times for publishers, but a new sort of January has come out. This new year, new you. And because this one falls into more of a self-help category, that's why we moved it to January. So I think after Christmas, yes, I mean, there are people who are like, oh, I wanted to get it for Christmas. And I'm like, I get that. But won't it be a nice surprise when you're dreary and sad the first week of January that all the holidays are over and you'll get a lovely package in the mail with my book in it. So
Right.
Plus, I'm hosting a big party in Las Vegas, and I want everyone to come to Vegas and we'll party and have a big book party. Yes, Doug, you guys should come, and we'll have a big book party there, and so we'll have fun. And we couldn't have done that if it was, before Christmas because everyone's really busy. But in January, nobody has anything going on after the 1st. So
Right.
Yeah, except here it'll be snowy, but yeah.
All the more reason to come to Vegas.
Right. Look at that.
I bet they have beer there.
Jen set herself up to get. She set herself up to get out of Kansas City in the winter. You got to give her props for that. And she can call it work, Doug.
That's
it's
right.
Amazing.
Well, and think if you guys came there and did your podcast from there, that would be work for you too. You can expense it. Boom, done.
I never even thought. Look at that, Doug.
Taking it on the road.
Absolutely.
I think we haven't done one on the road, have we? You did the Badger Beer Hour on the road recently, but not this. So
no, I don't. That's why we got Casey, y'all, because I don't want to do it on the road. But we should though. We should. We absolutely should. So yeah, Doug, do you have anything? I have a video. It's a 2-minute one, so it takes a little bit of time. Well, it doesn't take time to develop. It's just actually we may not even make it through the 2 minutes. Oh, watch y'all ears. The dude is yelling. So
look at this fucking bus. Look at this bus that goes by in my neighborhood. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this?
That's the
what
clip,
is this?
sir.
This is on the side of a bus rolling through your street. Rolling on the side of your street. Is this what you want, black women? Is this what you want, black women? Is this what you want? Look at this bull fucking shit. Look at this shit on the side of a bus. Is this what you want, black women? Is this what you want? Is this how you want to be respected? Is this how you want to be respected in life? This is how you want to look? This is how you want to be portrayed? Stand up to this bullshit. I'm from Philly. I actually should support Meek Mill. This is fucking disgusting bullshit. Look at this lady. Look at this. This is on the side of a bus where little girls can pull up and see this shit. That's her fucking pussy. Let's not mistake what this pink dot is. This is disgusting. This is satanic bullshit. I'm so sick of this. I'm so sick of... Look at this shit that you're getting on. This is for everyone to see. Little girls are seeing this crap. It's fucking crap.
Thank it, Daddy.
This is disgusting. This is disgusting. I'm so sick of them just rubbing Satanism right in your face. Oh, it's for art? This is art? Is this art? Black and white checkerboard. What is that? It's a Masonic flooring.
Whoa.
Duh. Look at this garbage. Money. Garbage.
He went all the
Wake
Vinci
up.
Code on that.
Wake up. It's all related. The vaccine. This crap. It's all related. They're all the same spider. Controlling you. Stop complying. Take your frickin' mask off. Read about germ theory. It's ridiculous already.
Germ theory.
Germ theory. I'm going to write that one down.
Clean the frickin' water. Stop dumping shit in the air. Get organic food. Grow your own food. Insane. You see that? You see what they're doing to the black women on the outside of that bus? You see what they're doing to your sisters over there? Disgusting. So tired of this shit.
I'm tired of your mullet.
Right? I was like, cut your own hair. Oh, wait. Grow your own food, I meant. Wow.
That was something.
Jen, do you have... I know... We know you like to talk... We know you love to talk about shit like this, so... That's why it was kind of queued up. There's a lot there.
So sad I missed that originally. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. Because Lord, I need a bus with naked women all over it to go through my town. There was a lot to unpack there, wasn't there? Jeez Louise. Here's the thing. Like, I get the whole, like, is this how women want to be portrayed, right? Is this empowering? But on the other hand, are you the guy to make that point? Like, like, is this your fight, sir?
Right.
And then he lost me when it was, this is satanic, this is Masonic. I was like, oh, okay, okay. So it's really not about what you say it's about. Like, it's just you are
Right.
afraid of the power of the pussy. Got it. And so I think that's really what it boils down to, is that he's embarrassed because he doesn't quite know what to do with all that. There were a lot of body shapes on there that he's not used to seeing, I think. But when he smacked that ass, did you see that? Like,
Yeah.
nah, there's something there, Daddy. He liked that. So I don't know. He was
Something.
a lot. He was
It was
something.
something.
I think I liked it
Right.
best when you looked at that and you went, "That's the clit, sir."
He's like, what is this? Oh my God, of course you don't know what that is.
I'm sure you've never seen that before, but okay.
Not from this angle,
Right. Right. And completely missing the point about it was Meek Mill who was behind that, who is a black man. So again, there's an element of black, you know what I mean? Like black people making black art, and he completely, white man completely didn't get that.
He whiffed.
He was passionate though.
I mean, but aren't they always passionate? Like, I mean, you see that. I mean, I literally, though, I was in Costco this week and I saw a white man lose his shit and throw a bag at a lady, like with his return. And it ended up that he was trying to return something that was actually from Sam's Club, and he was trying to return it to Costco. And I was like, you don't see this very often. So, and they always have so much passion behind their righteousness.
It's that whole thing too, where it's like, all right, I'm in for a penny, in for a pound. Well, I can't back off now, even if I'm wrong. I gotta just keep. And that's
little girls will see this. Oh yes,
not little boys though. Notice, not little boys. You didn't mention little boys once.
No,
just little girls.
No,
little boys. Who gives a shit if they see that?
Yeah, they've already seen it, I'm sure. So I don't know. Oh, yeah. I think that in the passion, I'm just tired of the passion. Like, they used to live under rocks and be quiet, and I'm ready for them to go back to the rocks. Like, I'm tired of this. And I'm tired that people don't confront that. Like, if you see that shit happening, you should confront them and be like, and ask them to like explain themselves. Like, where when he said, I wrote it down, germ theory. Believe me, I'm gonna go down that rabbit hole tonight. Like, because I'll be like, no, tell me more about germ theory.
These fucking internet sleuths that are doing their own research. I look up germ theory. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, all right, great.
Yeah,
that will lead you to an OANN fucking site somewhere along the line, because that's where that's coming from.
Right. So, Doug, it's getting to be that time where we wrap up. So I'm going to ask Jen that ultimate question that we love to end here, which is there anything that we left out? Anything you want to talk about? Anything that you would like to address that we didn't address? If you just want to talk about your book, that's great. Want to talk about all of them, that's great. We just want to make sure that you get the final word on all your stuff and where we're at, or any of that. What you got?
Well, I still do have a closet full of Lularoe that I'd like to get rid of. So if anybody's in the market for ugly clothes, please hit me up. I also have a lot of, I'm working on a presentation on germ theory right now that I hope you guys all tune into. That'll be on the YouTube. And yeah, I'd love for everybody to grab some books and pre-order my Midlife Bites and follow me and join me. And, I'm just as fun as these guys, I promise. And listen to my podcast. Yeah, thanks. I always forget about the damn podcast. Listen to the podcast. And yeah, I'd just like to see you all, meet some new people.
So books can be...
Well, I need some more dudes in my life, because I feel like you guys, this is a dude show, like, right? Like, there's a lot of men on here that watch this, you think?
We do a lot of we try
dudes are not probably.
Yeah, dudes, but like we have about a year and a half ago, Greg and I started talking about kind of quote unquote diversifying our show. So we had a lot of different folks, not just beer people.
Mm-hmm.
Beer people tend to look a little bit more like me, trying to go and having more women, people of color, all that stuff. So yeah, we've been trying to get more folks in here. Like you said, We've had a lot of awesome.
We have a lot of women for being a boys show.
Good. Well,
for
then I
sure.
would love some of your folks to come over and find me and join me too. And there's enough of us to go around.
Yeah.
So podcasts everywhere you can get them. I got it off of Spotify, but it's everywhere. It's on iTunes and all that, right?
Yes, it is. It's everywhere.
And books everywhere books can be sold. I didn't see you on Amazon, but I didn't check there. But as long Amazon is obviously the big one.
Yeah, Amazon is like 70% of my sales. So definitely on Amazon. And if your local bookstore doesn't have it, they can always order it. And if your library, I love libraries. And if you go in and tell your library that you want the book, they will always order it too. Authors still get paid through libraries, and we love libraries because they're a gateway drug to books.
Man. So. Man, and this is the 2 weeks in a row we talked about libraries on this show. So we're library oriented, Doug.
You should get a librarian on here. Have you had a librarian come on yet?
No, but I think that's a great idea.
They're the best people on the planet. They're so much fun, you guys.
All right, now I have to look for a librarian. I have a friend whose parents own a bookstore, and she works there, but she's not a librarian, so that's not quite.
It's a little bit different because the librarians are all about their patrons. Like bookstores are great too, because bookstores really want to sell like the new releases. But librarians are like special sauce because a few years ago, I went into like the children's section of my local library here, and I had my daughter with me. And she had tried to read a book at school. She'd gotten this book out from the library at school, had to be returned. Somebody else checked it out, and she wanted to continue reading it. And she couldn't remember a darn thing about it. But she was like, it was blue. It has a feather and a pencil on the cover. And I was like, this is not helping me. And so we went into the children's section because she knew it was a children's book. And so we got over there, and 3 librarians all got together, and they're like taking notes. And they're like, was it this shade of blue or this shade of blue? Was the feather white or was it brown? And they had like all these questions. And then they're like, will you guys look around? And we looked around, and about 15 minutes later, one of them comes back with a Post-it note, and she's like, is it called? And you'd think I would know what it was called, but is it called blah, blah, blah? And my daughter was like, yes, that's the book. And she's like, we have it. And, and so it's like, they're really passionate about finding the right book for the patron. So that's why I like librarians.
Yeah. Amen to that, man. Yeah.
So, Jen, we wish you all the best of luck. Keep us informed about the details of your party in Las Vegas. Well, we will try to make it, but if we can't, we still want to scream and holler about it in the stream.
You can find everything at jenmanwrites.com. Jen with 1 N, man with 2. And I've got the party is on there already. I put all my events on there as they come up. And so there's all sorts of good stuff there.
Yep. And then links to your blog. That's the Punch Your Face blog. And then it's also or is it called Punch Your Face?
Punch Your Throat.
Punch Your Throat. My bad.
There's another Jen who does the face.
And then links to the podcast and all that, because that's where I found it too. So everything is there. It's scrolling at the bottom there for y'all who are interested. And Jen, thank you for your time.
Thanks, guys. This was really fun. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, we'll definitely reach out to you to get you back on here sometime soon.
And I'll have beer with me that time. Now that I know that like you guys are super serious, I can't just roll in with like Pabst Blue Ribbon or something. I'll bring something good.
Hey, we have people roll. Yeah, you can if that's your jam. We don't discriminate on that at all.
I brought a Zima. Like, is that okay, you guys?
We've never had Zima yet, but Jen, we have had someone pour beer in a cereal and eat it. So we've
you've seen some things, okay?
Yeah, we've had people in pools with no clothes on, dog. We've really expanded the
we've gone the gamut. Yes,
I was feeling kind of bad because I came in my jammies because you guys started so late tonight for me.
Jen, you gotta up your game. You gotta up the game.
Next time I'll be in
next time. Right.
We did it. We did also. The same guy who did the cereal also showed up in like a fucking robe with like a pipe. Yes. It was great. So,
sitting on a throne because he's a cereal king. Yes.
That's his whole shtick.
Oh, all right. Yeah. Well, I will do better next time then. Now that I know there's a theme and there's a contest, I will do better.
Right after that audiobook that you pump out. Right.
I will. Yeah. Start collecting feather boas. Oh, you know what I want to wear? I want to wear that You guys, if you've seen that robe that you see like on Amazon, all the women see it with it's got like a big boa around the arms and stuff. And it's the I murdered my husband robe. And you're supposed to meet the police in the robe and be like, no, my husband is dead. How could that happen? And really you're the murderer. So I think I will order that from Amazon for next time.
I think that would be
excellent. And that'll be for your new book, something, but we'll figure that out.
We'll figure that out later.
And I'll bring cheese packets so that we don't get hungry.
Packets.
Yes. And you're gonna what is it? Gene theory? You're gonna
germ theory. We're gonna hear. We're gonna have a whole
you will have theory.
Okay, great.
A whole dissertation on germ theory.
Yep, I will be an expert by the next time I see you guys. In fact, can I get your emails now so I can start just keeping you up to date?
You just start doing it, right?
You don't mind, right?
Right. And real quick, chat. What's your Twitter handle?
Oh, I am at @throat_punch.
Again, classic Twitter handle. I had to make sure we got that in, Doug, because I love Twitter. And I saw her Twitter handle. And I was like, that is amazing. I wish I could change it here, put it or anything. But yes, @throat_punch. Well, thank you, Jen Mann.
Thank you guys. This was really fun. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah,
you have yourself a good weekend, and again, good luck with the book.
Thank you.
And you can stick around for after show if you want. If not, we'll catch you on the flip side.
Okay.
Books.
Books.
Mm-hmm. All right. Where is this? So we had a really fun week. Back here, I got me a signed copy of the Beer Bible from our friend Jeff Allworth.
Nice.
Yeah, there's a picture here, but I hated the picture, so I'm not sharing it. But anyway, I did get a picture with Jessica Jones and him. It was a great time. It was fun to meet him. He's a great guy, and I love it. It's great. But also, the real reason we're talking about Jeff is not only is he on his book tour that I saw him a couple days ago. I think last night he was in Chicago. I'm not sure where he is now. I think he's going closer to you now. He was nominated and won some awards for his wonderful writing. First of all, trying to pull it up here. He's on. It's Beervana, right?
Beervana. Yep.
Yeah, Beervana is his podcast. I'm sorry, it's also his podcast, but it's also his blog. And as you can see here, he won technical writing for 2 pieces that he wrote on there. But he also won the best beer blog, which is pretty amazing.
That is pretty amazing.
Considering best blog, Beervana #1. Beth Deming is fucking fantastic. I don't know if you guys know her. She's great.
I do not, so now I gotta look her up.
Yeah, she's great, man. She takes no punches as far as diversity and women in beer. She's just great. Oliver Gray's there, but also we need to mention past guest Paige Dodora. Here, business as usual. How 5. She won an award for how 5 Minneapolis and St. Paul bars responded to the George Floyd protests. Great piece. I don't know if you read it, Doug.
I'll be looking that up too.
But I gotta put. Let's see. I gotta put that up here too. It was in Good Beer Hunting. But yeah, look, and then Rick gets a shout out for his wonderful pictures that they took. So it's just a great piece about her reporting about what was going on then. So clap for Jeff and Paige. Yay. Doing great, doing wonderful, great things. So yeah, this is great. I love it. Yeah, that's it.
All right,
Doug. So we have don't I have another thing here or something? So I only had 2 beers today. I didn't push it. I wanted to make sure I enjoyed them. And I don't know if I should be, especially after the day of eating that I had, I'm not sure if I should be finishing these for my diet. So I had the Seed, Sock, and Root, which was this wonderful dark lager that has African grains in it. That is so damn unique. I'm absolutely almost done with it. It's great. And then we had the Run the Jewels Blockbuster Night IPA. It just came off like a normal IPA. I'm sure there's more to it, but when you have a guest and everything's rolling, things go faster. So, what was your night and boost, Doug? How was it?
Okay, so surprisingly, the one that I was looking forward to the most was the one that I liked the least. It was the Utopia's Worldwide Stout. I was really expecting to like this. Just that Utopia's portion of it, just to the flavor.
Utopia's is challenging, man. Utopia's is
and I've never had them, so I was just trying to see. Oh, cool! Let me try that, and I was just like, I might not even finish it, and that's a rarity for me. I always finish my beers because I don't believe in waste, but.
It might have helped if you would have known about Utopias before you had it, but it might not have though.
Yeah,
Utopias it's in the I don't know, man. It's going.
Yeah,
it's complicated.
So second was the Rheingeist. This was good, but I wonder if it was a little bit long in the tooth. Let me see the canned in April of this year. Yes, long in the tooth.
Wow.
So on that one. My favorite one was the coffee vanilla cream ale. That was excellent. Just tasty, yummy coffee, vanilla, just super drinkable, super crushable. That was my favorite.
Excellent. Okay. Well, next week we have a real life farmer.
Yeah, that's a new one. We haven't had one of those on our show
We've
yet.
never had a farmer. And he's going to be on his cell phone. He doesn't have like technology. So it's just going to be great. Fatherhood Farms. Our buddy James, Fatherhood is Lit.
Yep.
Does. Yes, he his brand fucks with me because anything with fatherhood, I always immediately say Fatherhood is Lit. So you did a good job of branding. When I hear fatherhood, the only thing I think of is Fatherhood is Lit. But Fatherhood Farms is our friend Clint. We met him at that too. He is just inspirational. He is on point. There's just a lot to like about Clint, and I just can't wait to have him on and introduce y'all to him. So we're looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm.
And then until then, Doug, you have yourself a great weekend. I'll see you next week.
You as well. Bye, folks.